The sea was calm that morning, its surface painted in silver by the rising sun. The giant aircraft carrier loomed at the dock like a floating city, bristling with radar towers and fighter jets on its deck. Sailors bustled about, their crisp uniforms spotless, their boots echoing against the steel walkways. It was a day of ceremony, a day when the Navy showed its strength and precision to the world. But among the white hats and gleaming medals, one figure stood out. An old man, his steps slow but steady, walked with a slight limp toward the ship. His uniform was not crisp and new, it was weathered, faded by salt, sun, and decades of memory. On his jacket, half hidden beneath the fabric, was a patch no one recognized at first glance. He carried himself not like a guest, but like someone who belonged. His eyes, though tired, still carried the steel of a man who had once seen more than most of these sailors ever would. A young Navy officer stepped forward, blocking the path at the gangway. His posture was rigid, his voice sharp. "Sir, this area is restricted. Only authorized personnel and guests on the manifest may board the ship today." The veteran stopped. He looked at the officer, calm, almost amused. "Son, I've been on more ships than you've had hot meals. I'm not here to cause trouble. I just need to set foot on her deck, one last time." The officer didn't flinch. "I'm sorry. Without clearance, I can't let you through. Orders are orders." Around them, sailors slowed their pace, curiosity flickering in their eyes. Some smirked, whispering about the stubborn old man trying to sneak aboard. Others shook their heads, dismissing him as another relic of the past who refused to let go. But the veteran didn't argue. He simply straightened his back, as if reminded of who he once was. His fingers brushed the patch on his jacket. It was frayed, almost unrecognizable. Yet it was clear he wore it with pride. The officer's eyes narrowed. "What's that patch? Doesn't look like any unit I know." The veteran said nothing. He just looked past the officer at the ship, at the great steel giant, as if listening to the echoes of ghosts only he could hear. "Sir, I'll have to ask you to step back," the officer pressed, more firmly this time. The veteran's jaw tightened. He was about to turn when another voice cut through the air. A deep, commanding voice that silenced the dock with its weight. "What's going on here?" Heads turned. An admiral, flanked by aides, was making his way down the gangway. His uniform gleamed with medals, his cap pristine, his presence undeniable. The young officer stiffened to attention. "Admiral, this man was attempting to board without authorization. I was stopping him." The admiral's eyes shifted to the veteran. For a moment, the years seemed to fall away. His gaze dropped to the patch on the old man's chest. And he froze. The air changed instantly. The admiral's face, usually stern and unreadable, softened with something that looked like shock and respect. He stepped closer, his hand trembling as he reached for the patch. Where did you get this?" the admiral whispered. The veteran's eyes glistened. "Earned it. A long time ago. South Pacific. Special Recon. They called us Ghost Squadron. But I suppose history forgot us." The admiral's mouth parted in disbelief. He staggered back half a step as if seeing a ghost. Around them, sailors exchanged confused glances. No one had ever heard of such a unit. The admiral removed his cap, a gesture no one could remember seeing before. You're one of them. My father spoke of men like you. He said you were the ones who never made the history books, the ones who did what no one else could." The old veteran chuckled softly. "We weren't supposed to be. Remembered, son. We did our work in the shadows. But the sea remembers. And so do we." The crowd had fallen into silence. No one dared interrupt. Even the young officer, now pale with embarrassment, stood frozen. The admiral's eyes grew wet. He saluted, sharp and perfect. And then, to the shock of every sailor present, he said, "Let him aboard. No, escort him to the bridge. This man has earned the right to stand wherever he wishes on this ship." The veteran's lips trembled. Slowly, he returned the salute, his hand not as steady as it once was. As he stepped past the stunned officer and onto the gangway, the sailors lining the deck instinctively stood taller. Some saluted, others simply watched in awe. The whispers spread like wildfire. Who was he? What had he done? The veteran walked the deck, his boots echoing softly. Memories surged, friends lost, battles fought, the roar of aircraft launching into the sky. He closed his eyes and for a moment, he wasn't an old man anymore. He was young, strong, part of a brotherhood that had lived and died without recognition. The Admiral walked beside him, not speaking, just honoring the silence. Finally, on the bridge, the veteran placed his hand on the steel railing, his eyes scanning the horizon. "Beautiful," he murmured. "She's in good hands. Just promise me, Admiral, that the men who fight today won't be forgotten like we were." The Admiral's voice broke slightly. "I promise." The veteran nodded, his shoulders finally at ease. For the first time in decades, he felt peace. As the sun climbed higher, the old man turned to leave. But as he stepped back onto the dock, hundreds of sailors snapped to attention and saluted in unison. The young officer, face burning with regret and admiration, joined them. The veteran paused, tears glistening. He raised his hand once more, saluting them back. Then he walked away, his figure growing smaller against the horizon, the patch on his jacket catching the sunlight one last time. He didn't need history to remember him. The sea already had, and so did they. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps keep these powerful stories alive, reminding us that true heroes walk quietly among us every day.